will now resume the workshop for March 1st, 2012. I'm going to take just a quick 20 seconds here. Alderman Broker had some information that I think he wanted to ask the attorney and give the board, and I think Phyllis too.
Going back to the code red, I think the price that he gave us is like $6,600 for the remainder of the fiscal year, which would not have to be out for bid if we did not put it for a contract. Of course, next year, if we chose to go more, it would have to be. Is that something that we can? I mean, it would give it a trial basis anyway. If we liked it, we didn't like it, it would have a system in place for right now. In other words, you do not have to. You have the option for a contract to begin with. If you just did it between now, put something in place between now and the end of the fiscal year.
I think ours is 5,000 though. We moved it from 10 to 5.
No, it's a bid at 10.
Bid at 10. Okay.
Board approval at between 5 and 10.
Okay, good. I mean, that's a good point. And it's just a trial basis.
Would he? Well,
but we're still paying for it.
Would he still make us sign a contract? I guess would be my question.
What?
He was going to check with his sales rep to make sure they could do that, because generally it's a 1-year subscription and forward. So he was going to check to see if they could do that in a lower term.
Well, yeah, if it falls under the $10,000 threshold, I don't see why we couldn't do that.
And I believe it's an option anyway for a contract. If we opt into the contract, it's like a 5% discount. So you don't have to do the contract anyway.
Okay. Well, real quick, we're going to go back hurriedly, and I know we've got a lot more to discuss. We did have a presentation tonight for the workshop only. Kathy would like to take just 3 minutes to introduce y'all to our new website. It is absolutely phenomenal. She has worked diligently on this, and I'd just like for her to take just 3 minutes and let y'all look at it.
Will you give me 4?
4.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. About a year, maybe 9 months ago, we did bid out to have a website built for the city, because the old one was very useful, but we really needed something more fresh. The lowest bid came in at $60,000, so I talked with IT and we recommended that we just try to build one in-house, which we did. So I'm very proud to say that we did save the city $60,000 at least. I think the highest may even have been $100,000. So this is it. I did ask Doug to go ahead and pull the calendar up first, because it takes a while to get to the calendar, and I wanted to show you one feature. When you hover over, you'll see information. For example, on the 31st, this is July, that's the Board of Zoning Appeals and the Planning Commission meetings. If you hover your mouse over it, you'll see what the submission deadlines are. We'll be able to put library events here. We'll be able to put senior citizen center events here. It will all be in one place on the calendar. But if you go ahead and click that, and hopefully it'll pull right up.
We have been having computer problems.
No, it's slow.
Okay.
This is on our internal computer system
Okay.
only. But if you scroll down, we have information, but we also now have the ability, besides adding pictures to the different events, and these are pictures that I took, or if we had other volunteer photographers in the community. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see I can even link to the festivities, the slideshow we made from last year. We turned it into a video. We're not going to click on that because I don't think that we have sound right now. But we are also, that video along with several other events are on YouTube. We have Laverne 37086 as our YouTube channel. And up at the very top under one of the drop-down menus, you'll see we have a services section. We have a link to that YouTube channel. Jason Cole isn't here, but at the last meeting or meeting before, he had someone read that he wanted to see our city meetings on YouTube like Rutherford County does. Jerry helped me do some investigating, and we found that, yes, we can put our meetings on YouTube. So we are now loading the first meetings. We're starting from the present and going backwards. So we've got one now loaded, and we'll keep building that website so that people will be able to read or watch the meetings if they can't be here to attend, or if they can't be in front of their TV or computer when they air on Channel 3. We, in designing the web page, we really wanted to build a very positive image for the city, which is why you see, of course, if you want to just go ahead and hit the home button. We've got the slideshow. We've got 18 slides up now. I'm adding a couple of more, including a picture of the library at our library director's request. But as you, if Doug, if you want to go over, just scroll over those headers. You can see we do have drop-down boxes. We have, hopefully, information very easy to find. Doing business was a very important one. We thought, working with the Economic Development Committee, to make sure industry and retail businesses coming in town here will be able to find information easily, fully, completely, and also that we're a very pleasing town to come to. So we do have the economic development section, and you can go ahead and click that. We did add, when we go to ribbon cuttings, pictures from ribbon cuttings to show that we are a very, a vital, growing community, so that when other businesses come and look at our website, which everyone will do if they're thinking about relocating here, we have added that. So the website is open now to city employees, and board members also got the link. You will need to go on a city computer to take a look at it. We are in the beta testing. Right now we're beta testing it. So I asked directors or city employees, if you see anything we need to change, and let me tell you, city employees are not afraid to ask for things to be added or taken off. I did go ahead and add a whole separate water billing section today for Phyllis's group. Hopefully within the next week we will be launching, so if anyone does have a chance to sit down and look at it, please, there's no pride in authorship. If you have changes or if you see a typo, bring them to me. We want it to be really phenomenal when we roll it out to the public. Are there any questions? The te, next to te. I will fix that, and this is the beauty of it. It can be fixed almost, if I went back to my office, it'll be fixed in about 30 seconds.
It tells all about our departments, who to contact. It's pretty awesome. Very, very awesome.
So if you don't have access even to a computer, come in my office. I'll sit down with you and let you take a look. Thank
Awesome
you.
job.
4 minutes?
You did good.
Thanks.
All right. We'll start this week. Alderman Green, you'll have the prayer. Alderman Waldron, I have the pledge. Please be sure to read over the minutes. We have all of our awards, presentations. On to old business, we have the second reading, ordinance 2012-01, and ordinance to amend Title 13 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding property maintenance regulations. This is the second reading. Do we have any more questions, comments, concerns regarding this ordinance on property maintenance? Derek, is there anything else y'all want to add to this or discuss? Is there anything?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Okay. Yes, Dennis, as he said, I did. Number 5, second reading, ordinance 2012-02, an ordinance to amend Title 15, Chapter 6 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding parking. All right, do we have any more questions, comments?
How much is a parking fine? Did I miss it in there?
I think that goes, once they get a parking fine, that goes through the police.
No, they can pay
Okay, can they?
Yeah,
I think it
20
is.
if you go to court.
It's not like parking on sidewalks. I was just curious how much the fine was.
But also, if they're parked and continue to park, they can be towed. So,
You got a lot to park on sidewalks on Lyndhurst.
mhm.
That's part of what this ordinance addresses.
Is that you can't park on the grass anymore, you have to park on an approved surface. And there are provisions for allowing you to park a vehicle in your backyard if you have a privacy fence or an opaque fence material that's 6 feet tall or taller.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Number 6, second reading, ordinance 2012-03, an ordinance to amend the 2011-2012 fiscal year general fund budget and capital plan for parks and recreation mowers. And there will be a public hearing at 6:30 on March the 8th, which is our meeting. And Jeff, I think we all pretty much know about this. Is there any questions? Or Jeff, you need to make any comments? Any comments? Okay. It's now the Miss Felicia show. We're going to move to our consent agenda items. We're going to discuss approved recommendations for city bids and purchases. We will begin with the zero-turn mowers for the park and recreation.
Okay, as you can see, we had several bids back on our zero-turn mowers, but the truest to specs was Murfreesboro Kubota. And so Jeff and AC took the time to look at all these other companies, look at their equipment, test some of it, and they still felt like for commercial equipment, the Kubota would be the best, and that it would be the best in the future for our streets department also, because they're going to be in need of one in the next budget year. And of course, this bid is good for a year, so we're asking that be awarded to Murfreesboro Kubota. I do understand it's not the cheapest price, but cheapest is not always the best. We do need to look at what is best all around.
Okay.
The next thing I have is the double drum asphalt roller for the street department. And Garland, in discussing this, the Nortrax, the number 2 bid for $26,182 is the appropriate size for that project.
Okay.
So we would like that to be awarded to Nortrax.
There's one missing on here, Felicia.
What am I missing?
The AEDs was ahead of that.
Oh, must have the wrong.
It's not, it doesn't show on here, but when you scroll down.
I've got zero-turn double drum. I got AED on down.
Yeah, they're at number 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, mine's right
My
there.
next one on my list is equipment for the police vehicles. Total is $149,585. You can see the breakdown. We're kind of giving a little bit of it to different ones. But it is coming in under budget very well. We will be coming back with the cameras and laptops. That will be on a separate bid.
Okay, back up now. He was lost.
Okay.
Okay, the Interceptor equipment bid, which one?
That's
Truckers?
$149. We're giving it, it's broken down to different vendors.
Okay,
It gives you an amount of what each
Okay,
one's
so-
getting,
okay.
just so that we got the best price. When it comes to equipment, as long as it was in the right specs.
Okay.
The flow monitoring, we're good with the recommendation from CTI on that. With CSL's been doing some work already. They've been doing a good job. However, on the pump station cleaning, the next one, there's been some communication going back and forth because Sanitec did not they did not spec it exactly as we did it. They've got a lot of to be negotiated. And that's just not feeling really warm and fuzzy with to be negotiating things. We don't feel like we're gonna spend the whole $77,000, but we may. But they're willing to do the confined space entry and clean out everything. So Jerry, Greg and I are in agreement on this one. CTI did not recommend FMI, but FEMCO, but we're in agreement that that was probably the best way for the city to go at this time.
Okay, with the,
Okay.
you wanna
Neil,
go
go?
with the Sanitech? Now, which
No,
one?
we're gonna go with FEMCO.
Okay, let me,
You should have that in there. Bruce should have put it in. It's FEMCO. It could be $77,000. But we're not really expecting it to go there because we think when we get the first set of cleanouts done, there's not gonna be a lot of extended. Does Bruce not have that in
I don't see it either.
there?
Page
Bruce not have
51.
it in there? Okay, there it is. Greg's email there is, we wanna go with them.
Oh,
Go to-
that's Skinner? Greg Skinner? Yeah.
Go to page 51.
Greg Skinner. That's not the one, though.
It's not?
Uh-uh.
FEMCO's over to the right.
Greg is suggesting FEMCO, right there at the bottom. If we
Oh,
agree the
yep, he's
recommendation
right, right
of
there.
FEMCO
Okay.
for 77.4. Okay,
Okay.
the next thing I have is, you got several pages documenting why NeoGov is more of a governmental type software for, this is for the, electronic applications as well as performance reviews. $12,000. This is the way we feel like that would be the best way to go on that one. State contract pricing for our police vehicles. It is 4 vehicles.
There's 4.
There's 4 this time. These are not police packaged vehicles. These are just regular civilian type vehicles, 4-wheel drives. They are using state contract numbers to the side. I'm going to get a copy though for our auditors of the exact contract, but these are the contract numbers that we're using. That's a total of $92,364. I was kidding with Kevin and told him I was going to ask that he not get nothing. Yeah, there he is. No, this is not for regular patrol. This is for CID and administration type vehicle. Those will be added to our lease, our purchase. I hate to use lease because we're purchasing all of them. It'll be attached to our finance program. And there will be a savings doing this because we're less one car that we were gonna get. And Lieutenant Rue did an awesome job of negotiating it and of picking and choosing to save money on our equipment. Now, if he hadn't done that, you wouldn't see me here tonight. He'd be visiting me in the hospital. Next, we've got the first offender, the sport warranty for the hazmat team. First offender warranty and services. This is something they have been needing, have been putting off getting until the funds were available. But it is $5,500, so it did have to come before our council.
Now, what all does that entail?
That's our, you remember about 4 years back, we got a CDAP grant,
Yes.
federal grant, and that was a piece of equipment, actually a $35,000 piece of equipment that we were issued through the CDAP grant. What we've done is after, we got, in that grant, we got the first 2 years of that warranty for free. Well, it was included in the
Yeah.
grant. After that, we were supposed to keep it up. We did ask for extensions, but for 3 years running now, we have not done that update, which is, there's a bigger drug catalog for it now to classify drugs. There's also a lot more chemicals that's been added, plus the maintenance and warranty if we have to send it in for calibration outside of its normal operation. but we've been holding off because a lot of the money that was in the line item to do this those 3 years, we've been using to get equipment up in the EOC to get it up and running where it needed to be. So we're 3 years behind right now, 36 months behind in actually having this done, so.
I just wanted everybody to.
Yes, ma'am. And it is in the normal hazmat budget.
Okay. All righty.
Okay, now we're going to the mower repair. About 6 or 8 months ago, we came to you, and because the city administrator at the time told me he had no desire to spend $7,500 on a mower, we purchased a zero turn, but we did not purchase a commercial type. And Greg found out and talked to the guy, and we realized this is a $35,000 mower that is sitting at Tri-Green. It is very much worth spending the $7,500 to fix, and it will be able to be used. Anybody that knows Laverne, we use things till they're dropping. So this will be in use until it's dead again. And I would like to ask the board to go ahead and allow us to go ahead and fix that mower at this time. I've been here almost 14 years, and I don't think we've gotten rid of anything unless it's died or crashed.
Guys, at any time if y'all have questions.
Feel free. And now I have the defibrillators. Now, I realize AED Superstore is not the lowest, but it's not the highest. But they're going to give us the medical prescriptions and the hard cases for them. So that's a lot right there. Medical prescriptions alone, I would have said go with it, but for both, I feel like that's probably the best way to go with this. And we're asking the board to award this to AED Superstore.
And this will get us to where we should be able to do the first responder program.
And that is all I have for you. I think that was enough, isn't it?
Okay. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Good job, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. B, approve Amendment 1 to the agreement with CTI Engineers Incorporated for additional engineering services for the Interstate Pump Station Improvements Project. Mr. Skinner.
He's asking for an additional $7,300 to design the discharge side of this pump station. Our drawings didn't account for the fact that the discharge line was 4 inches. They found that in the midst of the overhaul design. And the fact that line is 4 inches found late, that's the reason those pumps are running all the time. That's the capacity constraint at that station. So what he needs is $7,300 to design that 1,700 foot of 8-inch discharge line to get it up to gravity.
Now, on this, we're already under contract, so all we have to do, Evan, is just approve that. Just making sure.
You originally approved this back in July, I think, about $38,000 or so. So the design work.
Yeah.
So this is just an additional design fee.
Just making sure. All right, and number C, approve application for E-rate funding, received a favorable recommendation from the library board on February 13th, 2012.
Mayor, this will give us a 50% discount on our telecom services to the library, the phone, and the fax lines.
And like I said, I think we do this every year.
We do.
Any questions? All right. Next, appoint board members. We do have one vacant slot for the beer board. Alice Miller resigned. She's moved out of the city, and she did a really good job, and we appreciate her time and services to this city. We do have one applicant, Adava Beach. And just looking at her, she looks very qualified. She does have a degree in criminal justice. So that might come in quite handy. And also a lady left, so we're replacing with the lady. So I think that fits out. So the guys still outnumber them, but got to keep another lady on there to keep these guys straight. The Emergency Planning Committee, those are just the 2 vacant slots, which is our fire marshal, which I think we are working on changing the title of that one to begin with. And then, of course, the city administrator, which we will discuss later on in the meeting. So we probably won't be doing anything, well, I know we won't be doing anything this month, but this is just to let you know those 2 slots are vacant. We do have a vacancy in the Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board, and I think a lot of people may be a little intimidated by just the name of this one alone, Stormwater Appeals and Advisory. They may feel that they don't have a lot of knowledge about stormwater. It's a really good board to be on. We meet twice a year, and we are given training on this board. So if you know anybody, they're like, I'd love to be on a board, that one scares me. It's really not. We have our engineers, our stormwater engineers, so anytime we go into any kind of meeting, they are there teaching us, and we do have classes, and we are going to have a class in March the 15th, I think it is. But anyway, we will have a class on this. So if you know anybody that's interested in getting involved, please tell them, do not be afraid of this board. You don't have to have a great deal of knowledge on it. You will learn and be taught. Number 9. First reading, ordinance 2012-04, an ordinance to amend 2011-2012 fiscal year general fund budget.
This is just some cleanup. We need to move the Motorola lease from the police department to our debt service section of our financial reporting.
Okay.
This is a request from the auditors that we do that, and wanted to get that done before this year's over with.
Okay. We are not spending any more money, people. We're just having to clean up our bookkeeping. No money is being spent. Just rearranging per our auditors. Okay. Number 10 we've already done. Number 11. Resolution 2012-04, a resolution to amend the personnel rules and regulations. Did I miss one?
11's not on the disc.
Okay, I just saw Fred look.
It's not on the
Fred.
screen.
Number 11.
Yeah, just that it's moving slow. I spoke to the mayor about some of the things that are going on with me being able to sit down and not be interrupted, et cetera. So in order to get that done, I'm going to have to do that off hours or alter my schedule. I need about a week is my estimate to do that. So I'll work and look and see, is there time here in the next week or so that I can do that, work a later shift, et cetera. A lot of things happen in the city each day and a lot of interruptions, and I just can't get it done with everything else. So that's, I thought we could set some time and go to the library and do that. I've not been able to do that, period.
No,
so just to pull documents to get, and then also rearrange and add some policies and things that we need to change altogether. So if I don't do something soon, then it's going to take a long time to get this done.
Sit down and work out a schedule where you get.
So but I did want to come before this board and let you know that what was going on with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Number 12, a motion to approve an application for a certificate of compliance for an off-premises consumption retail liquor store for the Laverne Beverage Depot located at 5033B Murfreesboro Road. And there will be a public hearing regarding this matter at 6:30 on March the 8th. And to my understanding, they have sold the business. The people that currently own that business has sold. And so the new owners will be coming to seek this. And really there's no one here tonight, so If you have questions for them, next Thursday, please feel free to do so. Number 13, motion to approve Amendment 1 to the agreement with Laverne Rescue Unit, Inc. regarding the use of the police department boat. On the, we've discussed this for years, and Mike wants the boat gone. This was our thoughts. You're going to see an agreement here, and this may be a legal question, but what we're wanting to do, we don't want the boat. We don't want it.
It's just a trouble.
Yeah. We want them take the boat. They already have a lot of the equipment that they've purchased for the diving, to where they can scan when there's bodies. I think you've already purchased 1 or 2 of those. I know Chief has talked about working with them. Eventually, what we'd like to do, it's not going to happen overnight, but what we would like to do is eventually have a dive team, set up something like the hazmat team, where we have divers from rescue, divers from the fire, divers from the police department. We do have the largest frontage of lake property in the county. And if there's something that we need to put because it was ours, if they decide to ever get rid of it, it comes back to the city, or however we need to do that, but we don't want it to be ours.
Well, that kind of creates a little bit of an issue, because we can't give it and then say, but if you're going to sell it, give it back, and then have it not be ours. We either got to give it to them, or we've got to, assuming that we can, I don't know that we can, we either have to do that, or do what, based on what Bruce had told me, I drafted a little 4-paragraph amendment to the agreement that gives them the right to use it, but it still retains ownership with the city. So I don't know what y'all want to do. Okay. You want to look at, so you want to look at donating it?
I mean, here's the thing. Like Dana has said, if it's a major emergency, we're all going to be out there. If the police have an emergency and need to get somewhere quick, they're going to, he said, come get it. Same thing with the fire department. But if it's a major scene, everybody's going to be out there. Now, if we need to sell it to them for $1 or whatever we need to do legally, you know, that's, because it'll be their responsibility to care, keep it. I mean, the only reason I said that, if they get rid of it, give it back, because we don't know the legalities there. We don't want it back.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, once we give it or sell it, it's gone. So, if that's what y'all want to do.
Did you?
Yes, ma'am. There are 3 pieces of high-dollar radio equipment on that unit as well. It probably needs to stay on it, just like it stay in the city for emergency services.
Yeah.
But just so that Dana and them realize that would be supplemental agreements for that equipment to remain on there.
Well, if y'all would y'all try to get together and get with Evan, make sure just what we need to do as far as the emergency equipment. I'd say it's probably the same thing as you have radios. You're part of our emergency response. You know, God forbid we all ever have to be out there, but we know that day's coming, and we're out there at least once a year, not more, and unfortunately. But if y'all are kind of just make a list of the items that's on that as far as the radio, just like you've done the radios that they have.
It would just be an add-on to the radio agreement.
But if you'll get Mike and if y'all would just get together and set up how we need to do that, and if we can get this done, and we'll just put it on the agenda after y'all talked at how we have to do it legally, and if that's okay with everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any questions from up here? Okay, we've done number 14. Okay, number 15. Discussion. Motion to consider a settlement offer for the stormwater maintenance bond for Water's Edge subdivision, Section 9. Evan and Kyle.
Mayor, on Section 9, we still have one bond left. It's for stormwater maintenance, though. It's not for road paving or anything like that. And what we have out there is we already did cash in, I believe, a bond. I can't remember the exact amount. I think it's somewhere around 33, but we cashed one back when we did phase 6, 7, 8, 9 all at the same time. One thing we didn't get was section 9, the stormwater maintenance, and that's what myself and Evan has been, mainly Evan, working on for quite a while now, trying to get an agreement reached of some sort. What we've got out there though is about 11 lots left that are not built on yet, and we have drainage ditches that were installed at one time, but as you know, over time, it's been quite a while since they were installed. They're filled with sediment. Same way with the drainage pipes. There's some grates that I think were busted and miscellaneous things like that. We've been working with the bond company, and they've sent out a contractor to do an estimate, stuff like that. Long story short, the issue is not with what is it going to cost to do just the stuff that needs to be fixed today. It's how long are they going to have to continually maintain this until all these houses get built and this gets turned over to the city. So that's their issue, and they don't know that cost. So that's kind of why they, instead of sending a contractor out there to do it now and then us calling back, or us, you know, they're basically trying to settle on an amount that is agreeable to y'all, just to, that way it's done with. And probably the biggest point is, when we first started this discussion, I think Evans was getting a response back that they're not paying anything. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is any settlement is more than what they were arguing for.
That's right, and they've made an offer to the city to settle for $25,000 at this point on that bond. I don't want to go into detail about this too much, other than to say that I think it would probably be a good idea to any offer to settle a dispute like this that's made has to be brought before you anyway. But you don't have to necessarily take action on that offer this Thursday. What I would recommend you do is to authorize the mayor to negotiate with this bonding company and see if there's any movement on that before you make a decision whether or not you want to accept that $25,000 settlement offer. Talk to the attorney who represents the surety company, and there's no time limit or time frame placed on that offer. So we're not under the gun, so to speak, in terms of having to make a decision quickly. We've got some time to do it. So I would just suggest that you pass consideration of that settlement offer for a month, and then authorize the mayor to negotiate and then bring back, if we're able to bring back something else for your consideration.
And if y'all remember, we've had a time at Water's Edge. I mean,
This is the second go-around we've had on this stuff.
yes. I mean, we didn't get enough to even start a paving out there. I mean, we did get some, but, you know, we were lucky to even get that. So, y'all decide between now and Thursday if you want to go that route, or if you want to just wait, and it's up to this board. Is there anything else y'all want to add to that, or? No. Okay, we've done the sludge. Y'all don't let me skip anything. Okay, we've done that. Number 17 is discussion regarding the city administrator, and if y'all don't mind, I've asked Fred to kind of lead this discussion.
Some of the things that I would like to note, and I thought about how to start this, but I'll start here. I'll look at some of the changes in the last year. A year ago, we were without a public works director. We were without a city administrator. A little bit more than a year ago, I was the third HR director to come on board. We had 14 key positions that turned over last year. In addition to the things that I just mentioned, we've had 3 new litigation matters and some of the other things that were in our past. But I think that the thing that I would like to say to this board, to preference some things, I want to tell you a lot of things that have happened with the current team, with the department head team, and some of the things that are going on now. I've had discussion. I've seen Phyllis Rogers take on additional responsibilities, and what you didn't see because of her management style and the people working together last year is more than 2 full-time positions being absent with very little overtime. We've seen big changes in water billing. We've seen big changes in the operations that has resulted in the reduction of overtime. We've seen the same thing in Public Works with the new Public Works director and 3 new heads as far as the supervisors in that operation. We've seen overtime that was skyrocketing out of control in sewer and in water, and seeing a transition not only of the operations to make it better, but a change in the attitude. We've seen in this year, Jeff Marler and his team, we made some tremendous changes and got through some new challenges, and we've added some very capable people. A.C. Davis stepping up, taking new responsibility. Donna continuing to be a stalwart. I've seen Jeff come in and work with the team and do some things, and he's been consistent in not only growing the team, but helping to develop the team. I've seen the same thing in the police department. I've seen the same thing with Cal and what he's done, and Derek stepping into a role, and with Ms. Costanza, who is new, coming in and trying to get acclimated to the city. I've seen new life that has occurred in spite of the fact that we've been without a city administrator. I asked the board to slowly consider taking your time in filling this position. I'm asking you that you continue to let us run the city and grow the city without rushing into to a decision. I know that some things that Evan needs to look at as far as the chart and some of the things to make sure that we are en route. He and I had a conversation today, but we're doing a the strategic planning. And I know I can kill that mic because I haven't done it that long. But I do think that we're doing really well. It's a different environment. It's a less stressful environment. I think some of the things that we didn't realize things that were going on, certainly for me. I'll do it. I don't have a problem doing it. I don't have a problem having to be in an adversarial role. We thought that Steve Mayer was the right decision. A lot of us thought that, and it just didn't work out. And it didn't work out because of lack of effort in relationships and some of the other things that some of us that were here knew were going on. Of course, we're not going to come and say that because we're not trying to create dissension. But I think that it's working well now. I was just as unsure as we continue to move forward. I've seen less problems, and I've seen a lot more resolution of things, and I've seen people grow and develop. We've got some really, really strong and really key department heads, many of those that I mentioned. Some I may have failed to mention, but I think that we are finally clicking in the individual departments where we need to be, and we feel like we have the support of this team, even in the investments. Some of the things we seem to be moving in the right direction with, including electronic application, performance reviews, and onboarding. Thanks.
Evan, on this, I know we have a strong mayor automatic charter, that the administrator is there by ordinance form. We have an assistant city administrator. So where does that play in? Because when we do the handbook, it needs to be put in there, administrator / assistant administrator anyway.
That's the question, Mayor, and to answer your question, that's correct. the city charter does not require this city to have a city administrator. You have the option. The language says may
Not
have
shall.
a city administrator, not shall have a city administrator. That's optional for you. The question Fred and I were talking about this afternoon that I've got to look into a little bit more is to what extent the assistant city administrator can fill that role. Because the assistant city administrator is not a charter position. So I'm not certain that the assistant city administrator can fulfill all the duties of the quote city administrator. That's something I've got to look at. That may, you know, let me also say this too, so that this is clear. There's no time frame in the charter with which that requires you to appoint the city administrator in a certain amount of time. You can take as much time legally, you can take as much time as you want to take appointing a city administrator. There's no time requirement in terms of doing that. The only issue that I am clear about is what role the assistant city administrator can play in fulfilling the duties of the city administrator.
And did we did not add the assistant by charter?
Correct.
I mean, by ordinance.
No,
Ordinance.
and that's something that I've got to look at because that may create a little bit of an issue in terms of how much that an assistant city administrator can do.
But by that being by ordinance, can we, and this needs to be thought about whether we hire an administrator or not. Do we need to, by ordinance, form what that assistant, because we've got the assistant's position. So do we need to clarify, because I think we have by ordinance a recorder. Can we not go in and redo that ordinance and make it /assistant/recorder, because that's the title?
Well,
I'm saying we need to clean it up either way.
Right. And the only issue that it may come down is that because the city administrator position is mentioned in the charter, and the assistant city administrator position is not, it may come down to having to appoint an interim city administrator if you want somebody to kind of play that role. Okay? I don't know that that's going to be a fact. I've got to look into it, but that may be what I come back and tell you. I'm just not sure. So, but I think in any event, it's always a good idea to try to clean up, you know, the assistant city administrator, and try to define that role a little better.
Which either way, like I said, either way, we've got to make those changes. And then even in the handbook, it needs to be referenced as well, where they act in, when we need to check out acts in the absence of the administrator. That needs to be done, period. Regardless of what this board decides on how quickly they want to hire an administrator, those are cleanup efforts that we need to do there anyway. So
I'll look into that and come back and let you know what I think about that position. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that.
yeah, like you want to say something.
We said it at the budget meeting. I think Fred's right in what he's saying. Certainly, great department heads. The city's moving along, great. I don't think that is the real reason for this, in my opinion. To me, the city is desperate need of funds, and to me, this is a cost-saving measure only. I don't care what anyone says. A city administrator could help out this city. We debate over what criteria, how we bring city administrator back, what salary range we bring him back at. But right now, we have some big decisions in front of us, and I think just by not bringing them back this year alone, we're probably talking $55,000 roughly that the city will save. I also think that, as we've all said at the budget meeting, this is a temporary move. Is temporary 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years? You know, I guess that's.
I don't think we need to get rid of the position. That's me personally. But if we want to, now when we say this year, that's the 2011 and 12 budget. The next year, if you choose, that's over $100,000. $100,000 that.
And it goes back again to what we talked about several times, to prioritize. I mean, city administrator, I believe, is important. Is as important as the CAD system. Is as important as a grant that we may lose, that 1.4 million, you know, is as important as all the infrastructure needs the city has. My opinion right now, I'll give you my opinion next Thursday, but I guess.
No, yeah.
We get what we pay for.
Mhm.
And that's, we're not really paying good city administrator pay. I mean, you want the best, you're gonna have to pay for them. And you need a good city administrator when you get one.
Now, when he said next Thursday, how do we need to put this on the table?
What do y'all want to consider? I don't know that I was clear. This is just on their city administrator, but I don't know what you want.
Do we need to discuss the length of time? Do we need to take a vote? We'd like to,
Sounded like it doesn't matter.
so do we don't have to take any action?
Don't have to do anything.
Now,
Okay.
Based on, Fred and I will talk some more about the role of assistant city administrator. I doubt we'll have anything by this Thursday to present to you.
We want it done right.
But to answer your question, no, you're not in any time frame to have to do anything.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I asked it be left on the agenda, Bruce and I had talked about that, and we talked about it at the strategy session, and for different reasons, Alderman Green was out of town, et cetera, and we thought that it was only important that we have that discussion in this setting. It's not something that we were trying to hide. Certainly there's some financial cost savings, and I'm not suggesting that we do away with the position. That's not it. I just don't think it needs to, that we need to rush it. Certainly if you want, I've said it before, if we want someone with this many years' experience in some of the other things, we had a couple of those candidates the last time that were running cities, you know, but the one that was probably most favorable was $120,000 a candidate, and we couldn't even touch that. So I say we methodically come up with and be confident about, and I ask this board to consider it's not to rush it, but to take our time and not be overly concerned about the citizens rushing you to make a decision about that. So that's my purpose of coming before this board on this matter.
And I think we all need to come up with the criteria
We need to
that
do
we
some
think
serious
for the
work
next one,
on,
and then discuss it
you know.
before we put it out. Find out what we want, what we're willing to pay, what requirements you want.
Just take it off the agenda till we get some money.
Well, that's basically, we've got priority, and they're all priorities. They're all priorities.
Right.
But we have so much this year. We've got to stay with that we have this year. And if we can use that to help pay, because we're trying to pay as we go. And we've done a good job. Matter of fact, I'm going to brag on our tax department. She said in all the years that she's been here, we're at over 80%.
88.
Is it 88 today? I know she was pretty happy today, but didn't have of taxes coming in. She said this is the first time ever. So we've done really well. We know we got some big ticket items. If we can use that, it's not getting rid of it. It's just, we said in that 5-year plan, it's like playing chess. You got to move those pieces around. It's up to this board. I say we'll just take it off. In the meantime, though, that's not to say that we don't need to start working. You know, if you think of something, jot it down. You know, I saw this and let's write it down and let's start compiling this information. So if it's 6 months down the road, if it's this time next year, when we're getting ready to go into the next budget, we are ready, we know what we've got, we know what we want, and we know what it's going to cost us. And that way we're not, gosh, we want this one, but we can't give him this. So, but don't let this get out of your mind. Continue to focus on it. If you have thoughts, call Fred. Say, you know, and he can start like a little folder or something that we can start compiling this stuff.
I've got a folder, and last but not least, I need it to come before this board because I've not posted the position. And it's okay if I'm talking to any department head and they're going to guide me on please post, don't post, et cetera. But on this position, I would have to come before this board and do that. So, you know, I'm not purposely not posting it, but just need a little bit of direction. My thoughts are we're fine now without rushing to do that.
Okay. So we'll just, okay, we're going to take it off then. Okay? All righty. Mr. Skinner, engineering design proposal for replacement, and I just don't get this, Johnny, Glenn, and James. Are you trying to get rid of 3 people? No, those are our sewer pump stations. They named them. So.
They're all named after one guy, one of Kyle's, Johnny James. These 3 pump stations are up on Tech Park and near New Sanford Road. They feed some of the warehousey businesses up there. There are some pictures here that you can see. The top end of the infrastructure is completely missing due to degradation, and we just recently found out that, you know, Jerry worked with folks in Kyle's group to understand that the city's been paying the utility bills here, so the city truly owns these. So what we need to do is we need to strongly consider rehabbing these back to, you know, newer state. But this request is at $6,800, I believe it is, to get CTI to simply draw up the engineering for it, to modernize. Right now, you see the yellow road on the left. This is all we have available to us. We have grinder pumps hanging into these things. And we estimate that the rehab will cost somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000 total for these 3 stations.
But this is worked in to our plan. So let's make that clear.
Of course.
That we want everybody to know this is not new. This is part of our plan of action. So.
This certainly can be part of Dudley's capital wants into next year. Absolutely. So there again, the request is just for design works, $6,800 to do the drawings on these.
Any question, guys? Guess what? We are at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for mayor and alderman comments. Alderman Green.
Just appreciate y'all working so hard while I was having.
Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
We got some horrific weather coming in tomorrow.
Yes.
Everybody needs to be prepared. I think the chief might can update us a little better.
What's
I
going on?
apologize. I'm waiting on getting out of here. I was supposed to be about 45 minutes at B&A to pick up my young son and 3 other young soldiers who are coming home after 2 weeks at Fort Jackson for some training.
Oh.
I apologize.
It was the weather, what they're expecting tomorrow, what
The
time?
weather. Everybody needs to pay attention. This is something that I haven't seen from National Weather Service in a while. I think Ricky will agree with me. Everything we've gotten from Tim Hooker, the Assistant Director at Rutherford County EMA, from Richard, in his emails he does for us. There's Torcon rating of 7 out of 10, which means there's a 70% chance in that area that there could be tornadoes. There's potential for some extreme supercell activity, which would mean long-term on-the-ground tornadoes, potentially. We are in the moderate area, but that's a high moderate. I haven't seen in a long time National Weather Service more than 24 hours before give you a 4-hour period of time where they think it might hit. So they're pretty confident in everything they're saying on this system coming at us. Now, as we all know, when they say no accumulation, sometimes we get 6 inches. But I think we all need to pay attention and watch tomorrow. Weather alert radios, be sure they're on if you have them. Radio, something. Make sure you're aware of what's going on all over the city. Everybody needs to do that because this is not something that we need to take lightly. Hopefully, good Lord willing, Laverne will be okay.
They're saying this is the worst in decades.
In decades.
Yes, they are.
If any department, he just mentioned your weather radios. At one time, every single department had a weather radio. When you get into work in the morning, make sure, know where your weather radio is, make sure the batteries are okay. If not, I know at one time, even if they are, please send me an email and let me know you know where your radio is at, because I know Richard Long with Box 100 said he would like to eventually come around, go on and get y'all new batteries. I don't know that we'll have time to do this tomorrow, but if they're down, let us know, because you can plug those in.
I don't have a radio.
But
And if there's a department that doesn't have one, they need to get with Ricky first thing in the morning.
yes,
So he can get them one.
get with your employees, let them know a quick plan of action. Should we be in the
4
line?
hours is what, from 2 to 6 tomorrow?
12, well, actually, 3 o'clock in the morning, we're supposed to have a cell move through. The big issue is tomorrow, though. The more severe, critical time is going to be tomorrow. They say the temps could get up as
80s.
high as a high 70s or into the 80s. And this cold front coming in along that squall line, they're saying it should be to us somewhere between noon and 4 p.m. So that could be anywhere from lunchtime at the schools to getting out of school and kids trying to go home. So that's why we need to pay attention and watch what's happening.
Thank you, Chief. Alderman Broker? Yes, you may.
Are we open, first of all, are we opening up multipurpose, or are we doing?
We did speak with the Assistant Chief of Box 100 Dispatch. I think we'll let them know if they start receiving phone calls. We're going to send them to the multipurpose building, so everybody's on standby. Yes.
And there are signs, with Garland and I talked about, they're still over there, that we did last year for temporary put up out here so that we can do the multipurpose building for temporary shelters. So those things
Wonderful.
are there. I think everybody's very well prepared and ready to go if we have to.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hoping that we make it through tomorrow. Saturday morning is the cleanup at Hurricane Creek, 9 o'clock.
No.
I'm sorry, that's the 10th, my fault.
Well,
Okay.
he's trying to work us too.
You sent me the email today, I made a mistake. Okay, the following Saturday then. All right, good deal.
That's funny. Thanks to everybody. Great jobs I love getting compliments on departments. Good job. For those of you that have employees that are out and about, I know Public Works, you got them scattered everywhere. You know, just tell them to please check in, let them know severe weather. Just know where your employees are at all tomorrow, because I'm a little nervous about tomorrow. I'm like them. I've never seen the weather service do this in my lifetime, so.
Any city employees that have emergency service or non-emergency service radios, if you monitor over on the mutual aid channel, Fox 100, we get a weather across that.
Yes, yes, so keep those radios on. Thank you, everybody. Kathy, the website's wonderful. Thank you. I can't wait to get that up and running. Oh, quick. March 10th, we have the Priest Lake cleanup. So please, everybody, come out. But we're conning the city employees. It's Wednesday, March 7th, from 9 to 11. So all of y'all, if you got over, we're going to do a city cleanup just with the city employees at Hurricane Creek. So if you can, please come out and join us on that. Also, Powell has legislative bowling day. And I don't see the
Sunday.
date. Is it this Sunday? Okay. So everybody come out and bowl with the youth on Sunday. Can you think of anything else?
Congratulations to Bruce on their new baby.
The new baby. We have
And
another
he's not
new
here
addition.
because of that.
That's correct. Thank you.
I thought he told me 2. I thought he told me 2.
I thought, you know what? It don't have anything on here. Yes, it is. 3/4/2012, 2 p.m. So it's Sunday at 2. Yes. If there's no further discussion, or if I've not, I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. If I have, I do apologize. Good night. Be safe tomorrow. Meeting adjourned.